We just had a discussion yesterday, and we always get into these really fun discussions. I love my kids now because they're old enough to where I can be philosophical with them in a small amount. Conquistadors, slaughtering all of the Aztecs supposedly, killing off all the Aztecs, and the amazing thing, and most schools talk about it now because they really want to put a negative light on Christianity. These great people that went out and they were trying to spread the word of the Catholic religion and establish their missions and shut those Indians up and make them listen because you know what? If they don't follow us, we're going to kill them. Yeah, that's what these people did. Why? Because they believed that what they were doing was what God wanted them to do. You need to go out and you need to preach the gospel. All right, well, let's do it and let's make these people listen. But that's what happens when you miss what Jesus said. He said, don't you understand that I desire mercy and not sacrifice? You have this idea, these laws that you think you need to do, but you miss the point of them. If God's intention was to save the whole world, if that was just his intention that he wants you to go out and make the world follow him without a choice, then guess what? Christianity could have taken over the whole world pretty easy. I mean, they did that once with the Roman Empire and Constantine, went out there and said, you're all Christians now. If you don't like it, we're going to kill you. But that wasn't God's intention. That's religion. Religion is evil. Religion's wrong. Wrong. What's interesting? Jesus even said this. And I was thinking about this, and this is what kind of got me turned on. What is the most dangerous thing that a Christian deals with? We already know the answer because I'm preaching on religion, but I'm going to act like you don't. I'm going to build this up. So what do you think one of the most dangerous things that Christians deal with? Think about all the things. We got the, all the problems in the world and sin and all these different things. No, you know what's amazing? Mark 7:13 says it. Jesus said it very, very clear. You nullify the word of God with your tradition. He told the Pharisees, said, look, you have all of these laws and religions and all of this stuff, this idea of religion that is so evil and so wrong. You literally nullify the word of God. What does the word nullify mean? Think about it. What does the word nullify mean? I like how, I think Paula has the Amplified Bible over there. And if you read it in the Amplified Bible in Mark 7:13, it says, you make of no effect. It is ineffective. For instance, we have the Nintendo Wii, and I'm not advertising the Nintendo Wii. Actually, I like the PlayStation 2 better now. But anyways, you have one of the little controllers. And the thing that bothers me is you could have one of the absolute coolest games in the world that you want to play on the Wii, but if your batteries are dead, guess what? It's nullified. It's of no effect. I can't play that game. Why? Because the controller doesn't work when the batteries are dead. You say, well, why don't you go out and buy a rechargeable one? I don't want to do that. I'm too lazy. But it's of no effect. It's ineffective. I can't do anything with it. Right? So what's happening? Jesus says, look, your religion nullifies the Word of God. That's pretty amazing. And we say, well, wait, there's nothing more powerful than the Word of God. Well, yeah, when there's faith involved. When somebody puts their faith in what it says and it's in truth, the tradition of men, religion of men will nullify the Word of God. So you have these Pharisees, and it's so amazing that when you read this and you see this, and these Pharisees that were so caught up, and Jesus walks on the scene, and he sets things straight. Something I wrote here because I wanted to remind myself, say, why has the church not seen the power that Jesus said they would have? I mean, if you want to be realistic, when it comes down to it, so people, most churches don't operate in the type of miracles that we get to experience. Most don't. Most churches don't have that. And I'm going to talk about, I'm going to finish up here with the 4 lies of religion and explain some things here, but why? Why has not the church seen? Because they've nullified the Word of God with their tradition, with their religion. They think that things need to be a certain way. They have to be this way, and if they're not that way, it doesn't work. That's what a Pharisee was like. So here, in walks Jesus, and now we're back here in Matthew 12 here, in verse 9. He just got finished telling them off about the Sabbath, and now he walks into the synagogue. And I think Jesus, one of the things that I really liked about him when I first became a Christian, I was talking to somebody this week, somebody asked me, it's kind of interesting how I always get in these conversations about how I became a Christian. And one of the things I said, when I first became a Christian, I didn't know I was a Christian. I believed in Jesus. I didn't want to call myself a Christian because I didn't want to be related to that religion. That was in my mind. I was like, well, I like Jesus. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's awesome. And yeah, I believe he died on the cross for my sins and I'm forgiven. I'm going to heaven. I believed all that. But the thing was, it was Jesus, and when I got a Bible, I remember I said, I'm just going to read what Jesus talked about, the things that Jesus did. And that's the thing that really caught my attention. Jesus was a troublemaker. He knew what he was getting himself into when he walked into that synagogue that day. I mean, come on. He's outside the synagogue, and he's already got these Pharisees rebuking him about eating grain. He's already starting problems here. And he walks in the synagogue. Now, I want you to think about that. You know, when a troublemaker walks into the room, everybody kind of gets a little uneasy. You know, kind of gets a little like, you know, and they're all sitting on their seat, and they're probably waiting. What's this guy going to do? What's he going to do here? You know, the Pharisees knew what he was going to do. They did. I mean, no matter how stupid they might, they knew what he was going to do. They knew he was there to cause problems. And that's what he did. He caused problems. You know, the sad thing is sometimes religion likes to keep people from causing problems. They like to keep everything in order. They like everything to be the same all the time. And when something changes, we don't want to upset the boat. No, that's not, somebody comes along and starts talking about God, blessing them with a bunch of money and taking care of, no, you don't want to get too crazy on that. God doesn't always do that. My friend, he got healed of this. You don't want to upset the boat. I mean, people just want to keep things the same. That's why people don't like certain preachers on TV, because when they have these miracles going on and they want to sit there and say, that's not real, that has to be fake, because look at that guy, he looks weird, he talks weird or whatever. And it's like, come on. Jesus spit on the ground and rubbed mud in a guy's eye and healed them. I mean, I'm sorry, no matter, that's what he did. I don't care how crazy you can say something. The bottom line of it is that Jesus kind of trumped most people's craziness. I'm sorry. I was listening to a guy who was talking about, because Smith Wigglesworth, I mean, he saw some pretty amazingly miraculous things. Weird, miraculous things. I ain't going to lie to you. When I read, that stuff is weird. But I don't doubt that it's miraculous. I don't doubt that it happened. Punching some lady in the stomach to get her healed of some stomach cancer or something, I mean, come on. But it happened. And the thing is, religion says, no, that can't be. Why not? Jesus trumped him. I mean, good gosh, he spit on a guy. It took mud, he spit, and he rubbed it in the guy's eye. And the thing is, and I try to picture myself in this situation. I'm sorry, I'm just weird like this, but I try to put myself in. Here I am. I'm leaving church or whatever, and I know this guy is some big holy man, and I see him over there, and there's a blind guy, and I'm thinking, all right, he's going to heal him. And he spits on the ground, he grabs the mud and rubs it all over this poor blind guy's face and says, all right, go wash, you'll be fine. I said, what? Come on, think about that. That's insane. Well, that's what Jesus did. He liked to cause problems. He liked to cause trouble. Why? Because he was trying, and honestly, and this is my opinion, people say, well, why did he do it this way? And there's all these different deep theological meanings you can go into, and some people, maybe it was a certain type of dirt that had a certain thing in there that healed the guy's. No, I really think, and this is my opinion, because this is kind of how I see Jesus. He did it just to cause a problem. He did it just to upset religious people. I think there are certain things that you read in the Bible, like when Jesus turned water into wine. I mean, why did he turn water into wine? Why did he do this? Why did it? You say, there was this, and this. He might have just did it just to upset you. He might have did it just to upset someone. Because he wanted people to get the point. It's not about all these little traditions that you're so surrounded with. When Jesus spit on the ground and made mud and rubbed it in the guy's eye, he broke like 4 or 5 different Sabbath laws. He spit, which you can't do. He rubbed, making it mud, which you can't do. And he put spit on another person. He spit on someone, which is about as worse as you can get, because in the Bible, if you spit on someone, it's like putting a curse on them. I mean, literally, it's funny, because there's that one place where you read back in, I think it's in Numbers or something, where Miriam had talked smack about Moses, and it said that she got leprosy. And God even said, he goes, put her out of the camp, because it's just like, when a father had, spit on his daughter for, she was, disgraced him. It was a curse. It was like a curse. And so, when you read this and you see that Jesus put spit on this guy's eye, it's like, wait a second, this doesn't even make sense. It's like he's putting a curse on him. He totally was throwing off the whole religious way of thinking.